Huh. Ooh. Hey, check it out. Back it up. Yeah. Drop it down. Make it shake. Ow! History, 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 history.
This is a bit of a special episode, if you will, that will have an accompanying video on YouTube. You'll be able to find it at the podcast YouTube channel and my other creative outlet, Big Z Off-Road YouTube channel. Over the 4th of July weekend, I went and drove the Alpine Loop in Colorado with my family. I really enjoy visiting old ghost towns and mine sites because it's an interactive way to see the remnants of history that are otherwise lost. Additionally, it brings you up into remote and highly scenic areas that almost always require an off-road capable vehicle. Running the whole Alpine Loop in one day is a lengthy trail ride, but it takes you along multiple historical routes through the San Juan Mountains of Colorado that were scraped out of the steep mountainsides by miners as a means of transporting personnel, tools and equipment, supplies, and ore in and out of the resource-rich, remote region. I was excited for the end part of Cinnamon Pass that takes you past Animas Forks on your way into Silverton, and had originally planned to write this episode about Animas Forks. However, while descending into Lake City from the top of Engineer Pass, we stopped at a site I hadn't previously heard about, and it piqued my interest. Not to say I won't also do an episode dedicated to Animas Forks, but on this episode of What You Didn't Hear, we will be taking a deep dive into the history of Henson and its mine and mill site, Ute-Ulay, and its link to the town of Lake City. To make sense of why people would go into such harsh and remote terrain and set up a life there, it's useful to briefly cover the history of Lake City in Hinsdale County, Colorado. In the 1860s, miners were exploring into the San Juan region in search of valuable minerals. However, at that point in time, the territory still belonged to the Ute tribe. As miners exploring the area found more deposits of silver and lead in the area, the federal government decided to renegotiate the territory boundaries of the Ute reservation, and in 1873 a new treaty was signed giving legal access to miners to move operations into the San Juan Mountains. This gave way to the already growing town site of Lake City, which was incorporated in the same year. Lake City was marketed as the metropolis of the San Juan, and its 260-acre plat was divvied up into 25-foot by 125-foot lots. Lake City quickly grew and joined the ranks of booming mining towns, complete with brothels, 2 breweries, 20 saloons, dance halls, and ambitious merchants and lawyers flooding into the area to make their cash off of the miners reaching further into the Alpine region. A major influence for the solidification of Lake City and the renegotiation of the Ute Reservation was the discovery of parallel veins of silver and lead in 1871 by Henry Henson, J.K. Mullen, Albert Mead, and Charles Godwin. They staked their mine claim, but they were trespassing on Ute land, so their claim would not stand. However, they immediately christened the claim Ute for the land's owners at the time, and Ulay for the Utes pronunciation of Chief Ouray, the leader of the Ute tribe. As a side note, Chief Ouray was the leader of the Tabawatchi band of the Ute tribe and lived from 1833 to 1880. Ouray was known as the white man's friend, and his services were almost indispensable to the government in negotiating with his tribe, who kept in good faith all treaties that were made by him. He protected their interests as far as possible and set the example of living a civilized life. After the Utes ceded the San Juan Mountains to the U.S. federal government, Henson, Mullen, Meade, and Godwin returned to their claim and restaked their ownership in 1874. In 1876, they sold their claim to Crook Mining and Smelting Company for a record $125,000, which would be the equivalent to $3.9 million current day. Crook Company's purchase of the Ute-Ulay stake is directly responsible for the boom of Lake City. The Ute-Ulay mining site became the first patented mining claim in Hinsdale County on January 30th of 1879. During the mine and mill's peak, it produced more than $12 million worth of gold, silver, lead, copper, and zinc. This amounts to $375.8 million today. This greatly productive mining operation brought the Denver and Rio Grande Railroad to Lake City in 1889, providing logistical support to haul even more supplies in and mined materials out. Between 1925 and 1930, the Henson town site and Ute-Ulay Mine added a steam power plant, machine shop, locomotive house, a mill, and a concrete dam that provided much-needed water to the mining operations. Milling operations at the Ute-Ulay Mill continued sporadically into the 1980s before being shut down completely. In 2013, the 12-acre Ute-Ulay Mill and Mine site was donated to Hinsdale County and today can be visited by following Engineer Pass Road from either the Lake City entrance or via Mineral Creek Trail from Ouray. As I stood among the weathered buildings and rusting remnants of the Ute-Ulay operation, it struck me just how temporary even the greatest booms can be. What was once one of Colorado's richest mining enterprises, responsible for the transformation of Lake City into a thriving mountain metropolis, is now mostly silent, its machinery stilled, and its workers long gone. Places like Henson and the Ute-Ulay Mill are more than ghost towns and old mine sites. They're reminders of the people who are willing to endure isolation, brutal winters, dangerous working conditions, and uncertain futures in pursuit of opportunity. Every collapsed structure, every piece of abandoned equipment, and every mountain road carved into these steep slopes tells a story of ambition, hardship, and perseverance. Today, thousands of off-road enthusiasts, like myself, and history lovers, also like myself, travel these same routes for recreation and scenery, often unaware that they're following the paths of miners, mule trains, and narrow-gauge railroads that once carried the lifeblood of this region. The San Juans are beautiful, but they're also a living museum, one where history isn't confined to a display case. It's scattered across the mountainsides, waiting for someone curious enough to stop and ask, what happened here? If you ever find yourself driving the Alpine Loop, I'd encourage you to take a few extra minutes and explore places like Henson. Walk among the ruins, imagine the noise of the mill and the bustle of the town, and remember that these quiet valleys were once filled with the sounds of industry and the hopes of thousands of peoples chasing a dream in the Colorado high country. I'm Zane Gould, and this has been what you didn't hear about Henson, Colorado and the Ute-Ulay mine site. Please, depending on which platform you're finding this on, rate, review, or like this episode, and share with your history and or off-road enthused friends.
Hey, check it out.